Well, welcome everyone.
Hi,
I'm Scott Drebit from Daily Dead and Corpse Club Podcast, and it is my honor to welcome Danielle Harris to Calgary. Let's give her another round of applause.
Hey! Thank you, guys.
Well, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
I see you're right in the Canadian spirit, right off the bat.
Yes. I don't even know what kind of beer it is, but it looks good.
It doesn't matter. Just stay hydrated.
Yep.
So, you go back quite a ways in the business.
Don't age me now.
No, I'm older than you, but you've been in the business for quite some years.
Yes.
Starting with commercials?
Yes.
Toy commercial, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
actually, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I'm sure
It was a Hasbro newborn real baby.
All right, there you go.
And you know what's funny about that? It's actually, I did the commercial with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Okay.
And she was supposed to be like the lead main girl in it, and then for some reason I ended up being the girl that they used, and yeah, she was in, so we started off on a bad foot when we were 7 years old.
Still don't talk to this day.
No, we do.
So what was your first film then? Was it Halloween 4?
Halloween 4, yeah.
Okay. Were you familiar with horror when you got that part?
No.
And how did that, was that a general casting call?
Yep, general casting.
Okay. And you became a fan of horror though?
Yes, then I
because
started
of
watching them, yeah. I think I was then allowed to see them because I did one, so I kind of knew that it was all fake, so my mom was a little bit easier on letting me watch them.
Did you find them scary because you were making one?
Oh, yeah.
You still found them scary?
I did,
even
yes.
though you know what
yeah.
the magic is?
I mean,
and all
I was
that?
scared of gremlins. It was different, though. I was scared of, like, Pet Cemetery. I was scared of Poltergeist, so it was more of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
You know, the masked killer wasn't really scary to me because I knew there was, like, a person in there.
Right.
I knew it wasn't, like, evil, you know, like a spirit or whatever. I don't know what they say Michael is, but so when Pet Cemetery, Gremlins, Poltergeist, all those still scared the crap out of me.
Those still scared you.
Yeah.
I find that interesting because knowing it's like a musician who, when they learn or they're learning how to play a song, and then maybe it doesn't seem quite as magical because they know how it's put together. But
I mean, I always
great.
say this, like, even the Muppets scared me as a kid.
Okay.
And I mean, we all love the Muppets, right? But in reality, if Kermit walked in the door right now, you guys would all freak out, right? If he was real,
Sure.
I would run. It'd be disturbing, right? So, well, that's scary to me.
Okay, all right, no, that's fair.
And we all know that's never going to happen. Like, I know it's a puppet.
Well,
So my brain goes, oh, it's not real. But if it
Right.
actually happened, I would shit myself.
well, sure, of course. Who wouldn't?
I know.
So, when you were making Halloween 4, how long did it take you to? Did you have any kind of problem realizing? Were you scared at all while you were making it, or were you put at ease right away?
Everybody on set made sure that they were like my uncles or brothers or family, so I wasn't scared of the actual guy behind the mask. But sometimes they would have me wait on set for, like, say the scene where I'm running, screaming across the different homes that he's coming after me in the front yard. Before we yelled action, I had to wait around the corner. It was the waiting around the corner when nobody was there in the dark at night that I would get scared about. And then they'd yell action, then everybody would, then you run out and everyone's like, there's like 100 people standing there,
Sure.
so you feel fine. But it's right before that you're like, oh, it's dark, I'm scared. I know, it's crazy. And then some of the stuff that we had to do, like the roof stuff, that stuff was scary
Sure.
for me because heights and just being just scared of,
so stuff
normal
that a normal kid would be scared of.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I get that
Yeah.
for sure. What was it like? You got to work with Donald Pleasance.
Yeah.
What was he like? He's one of my
He was
all-time
lovely.
favorite actors.
I mean, we didn't have a lot to talk about, but he was really nice to me and, was lovely and came in and super professional and did his job. And I mean, I had no idea who he was. So to me, it was just, the old guy in the coat, basically.
Fair. That's fair.
But he had an accent, and I don't think I'd ever heard anyone with an accent before.
Sure.
So he was like this enigma. So he was very nice to me, though.
Oh. Were you surprised at all by the success of Halloween 4?
I'm still surprised by it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about it 30 years later. Like, that's
Yeah.
insane to me.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a series that was
Yeah.
considered dead.
Right,
because
right.
of the third one kind of put the nail in the coffin on
Yeah.
it. And, obviously Michael being the key to it being, resurrected.
So dumb for them to do that to the third one.
I think if it had been called something else,
Yeah.
it probably would have done better.
That's how I feel about Halloween 5 and about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. If it hadn't been Halloween, like, they're good movies separately, but like 4 is better than 5 in my opinion.
Yeah.
But 5 is a cool movie if it didn't follow Halloween 4.
Sure,
Just totally different style.
Yeah, I like the Man in the Black. I
Yeah,
like
it's
that
kind of a
whole-
cool
I'm
idea.
Like, okay,
If it was just something else, it would have
I'll
been way
follow it.
better.
We're horror fans. We'll follow pretty much anything
know.
if it's not too ridiculous, or
Right.
even if it is
Well,
ridiculous.
yeah.
So as a kid, once you got the horror bug, what became some of your favorite horror movies?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I watched all the Freddys, all the Jasons, like that. I just opened up all of that stuff for me. And I didn't really meet the guys. I mean, I guess I only did a few like conventions when I was really young, and then I didn't until I was older. I mean, I only did one horror movie shockingly enough, between Halloween 5 and Rob Zombies. I only did one horror movie.
Right.
Which is crazy considering that everyone always like, oh, you've always done horror movies. I only did Urban Legend in between the two.
Right.
So from 1989 to 2007, there was nothing.
So what was it like to get back into the genre then with Urban Legend? Because that's another one
Yeah.
that was a hit at the time, riding that post-Scream wave.
Yeah.
And still has a great reputation.
I think that they just made really good movies back then.
Yeah.
They were really fun, and I'm hoping that it gets back to that, because we kind of missed out on that for a long time. So I always like to keep it simple, and I think that maybe we're coming back to that nowadays. But it was cool to be part of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like TV shows during that time, like everything was like our age.
Yeah.
Everything that was on the air was like our generation,
Very
which
much so.
it doesn't now. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have Unfriended, which is teens.
Right,
and
right.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I don't-
I like it, but I don't understand it.
I watch Netflix and reality shows, so
There you go.
I don't know.
HGTV for me.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was the one franchise, but then you jumped into another franchise as well with, I guess before I talk about that one, you came back for, how did you get involved with Rob Zombie and his Halloween reimagining?
I was actually at a convention in Boston, I think, and a fan came up to me and said, oh, I heard you're going to be doing the new Halloween. And I was like, oh, really? What new Halloween? And they said, oh, Rob Zombie's directing it. And I said, oh, really? I love Rob Zombie. That's crazy. He's like, yeah, they're remaking the original. I'm like, well, that doesn't really make sense. And like, yeah, you're going to be Laurie. I said, I am? That's weird. And then I went home and started looking. I mean, this is, even 2007, like I wasn't really on the internet that much, It seems like we should have been, but it really was kind of like, I think I still had AOL. I think I still have AOL, but anyway. And so I called my manager and said, hey, I think they're doing another Halloween, and it'd be kind of cool after all these years to maybe just do like a cameo, like a walk-on, like someone working in a store or whatever. It would be just fun for me and fans to see me as an adult kind of back in. And so she, sent a message along, and Rob was like, don't want anyone in the movie that's been in any of the Halloweens. I don't want anybody. So I was like, well, there goes my shot. And then casting said, you know what, bring her in for Annie. Now, obviously not Laurie, because this just would be stupid. Bring her in for Annie, and let's just get her on tape and have Rob see it, just to maybe we can like sway him one way or another.
Right.
So I went in and did it. And then I think I said something ridiculous, because you had to say like on tape if you would do nudity, because they want to make sure they get it like recorded. And I said something like, who doesn't want to see Jamie Lloyd's boobs? And then Rob was like, oh my God, she's like such an asshole. I think she fits perfect for Annie. And then I ended up getting the job, so.
Well, that is very much Annie's character. She's
Yeah.
very acerbic and very sarcastic.
Yeah, so it worked. I mean, I wouldn't have been right for Linda. I wouldn't have been right for Laurie. It just kind of, Annie sort of fit at the time. So I was glad to come back.
I find in his movies and he does this very well, because I'm a big Rob Zombie fan too, his casting is spot on.
Yeah.
In that he will pick people who are familiar from our generation
Right.
and even before, and put them in roles that doesn't draw attention to the fact of who they're known as,
Right.
but actually
Right.
gives them full characters that
He
that
lets
live
you
and
do
breathe
whatever
on
you want to
their own.
do. And what's also cool about him is he's actually not in the room when you're auditioning
Okay.
for anybody, because this is him saying this. 'Cause I asked him why, and he said because he would be swayed one way or another because he would like them so much that he didn't want to give them the job. And really, you guys are only seeing that person on film,
Sure.
so on the screen. So he wants to see them for the first time on the screen as well, and that's how he casts.
Okay. Yeah. So how long was that shoot for you on Halloween?
I think I only worked like a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We shot it pretty fast.
Pretty
maybe
fast.
2 weeks in Pasadena. Yeah. Halloween 2, on the other hand, I kept being wrapped out and having to go back to film in Georgia.
Okay. Was that a harder shoot, Halloween 2?
I had more to do.
Yeah.
For sure, but I felt like that Annie was a little more like me.
Okay.
It was nice to be able to sort of see, because you never really get to see the transition of, I mean, I had to play feistier and younger. I had to young myself up for the first Halloween because I was 30 playing, 16, opposite a real 16 or 17-year-old.
Right.
So I had to sort of dumb myself up a little bit, I would say. There's just something about like kids are just a little
Naive.
Yeah, naive. But then what was cool is I could come back, a year and a half later as the same character and could act more my age and be able to use the fact that I had this, traumatic, horrific experience that just makes you grow up really fast. So that's why there was a big shift in Annie's personality. And I liked the stuff that Brad Dourif and I and Scout did in that movie. I just felt like that movie, there was like 3 movies going on in one.
Right.
He kind of couldn't figure out, I think, which one he wanted to make.
I love Halloween 2 of the two.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Just
it's just
because
totally different.
it is totally different, and it kind of, after doing the first one where the first half of the movie was kind of his own thing,
Yeah.
and then the back half was more of an homage to the original. It seemed the second one just
The
went
second
off
one
and
was more
ran.
Rob, But again, I got wrapped out a bunch of times. It kept going back because he kept rewriting stuff and adding things. So he
Right.
was still changing things and trying to figure it out as we were going. Where I think his original remake, he's probably had that in his head for like 30 years.
Sure.
That's why that was so clean,
Yeah.
Where the other one was a little messy.
It's messy, but it's a glorious.
It's Rob.
A glorious mess.
Yeah, it's good.
You're not in 3 from Hell, are you?
No, I'm not. I know. Everyone harasses him to be in his movies. I just don't want to be that person that calls and goes, "Please, Rob, get me a part."
He should be calling you.
Everybody calls him.
You're Annie Brackett.
I know.
But again, I had jumped ahead, but there's that other franchise which is I absolutely adore, which is the Hatchet franchise as Mary Beth. And you came on
That's a good one.
as the second Mary Beth.
Yeah, because he didn't cast me in the first one. I auditioned for him, and he cast somebody else.
So the second time around, he came knocking.
Yeah,
on the
because
door?
then that actress was being difficult for the second one. He called me and said, "I'm really sorry I didn't cast you for the first one. Would you please go do the second one?" So stupid. Fine. But, because I auditioned for it and he thought it would be too much to have too many genre people in one movie. He thought it was getting to be stupid for the first one. But that's what makes it fun. I don't think Rob Zombie has a
No.
problem casting people that
No.
have been in different, horror movies in one movie. So I don't know. So now he realizes, oh wait, that actually kind of works. So
And it's not stunt casting if it's the lead in the film.
I know.
It's if you have Robert Englund on a little rowboat.
Right.
That's stunt casting.
Right.
But as the lead, that isn't.
Right.
But
She's
those
great.
are
I mean, I love those. I love that character. I'm glad I got to do, he has me just doing all kinds of dumb shit though all the time. I mean, he's always making me, I had to start Hatchet 2 never having done Hatchet 1. So it was like day 1. Normally in a horror movie, as the lead, you have a chance to not have scenes where you're a total wreck. For me, I had to start the movie at the end where the other girl
You were
left
ramped
off.
up, right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
there was never any downtime for me. So it was really, really gnarly shoot. And then in the third one, I'm handcuffed the whole movie.
It's true.
Holding an urn.
As you do.
in the swamp in like 110 degrees,
Right.
covered in fake blood that's made of candy syrup with like getting eaten by whatever those things are, chiggers.
Right.
Yeah, that was lovely to get out of your skin. So.
And Victor Crowley was certainly a surprise because it was 4 years later and no
Yeah.
one even thought, it
Yeah.
just showed up.
It did.
And he said, here you go. And that's a fun one as well.
Yeah, he did they shot that in like 10 days. I was glad I wasn't in that one. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm glad I didn't have to shoot that
Right.
for 10 days in
Right.
that, situation. It was good. He lucked out because he told me that I wasn't going to be in it before he knew that I was pregnant.
Okay.
So I said, don't start telling people that you couldn't cast me because I was pregnant because you wrote it without me.
Right.
And he was like, well, because I was like, you're really going to, and the thing was, is none of the cast but Kane knew that I was at the end. He didn't give that to anyone that was in the movie.
Right.
Tiffany, Felissa, like Perry, nobody knew that I was coming back for that little piece,
Right.
except Kane, because they didn't have it in the script. And then I came back, and then now we're on to the next two. Hopefully, we can get those going soon.
Yeah. Oh, no, that'd be great.
God knows what he's gonna have me do. I said no peg leg or whatever. I mean, I don't wanna. Please don't make me do something stupid.
No.
He will.
Keep it classy, like all the other Hatchet movies.
And Holliston, you see what he has me do in Holliston?
Oh, boy.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So speaking of Kane, the second Hatchet movie, was this around the time that you started working with him? Because was he not in your first movie that you directed? Or the second?
I did. Well, Among Friends is the only feature that I've directed. So,
Right.
so Kane was in it after I did Hatchet 2.
Okay.
Before Hatchet 3.
Okay. So Hatchet 2 was the first time that you had worked together with...
We did Fear Clinic together, which was
Okay,
that
the TV
that web
series, right?
series,
The web
yeah,
series
on
with,
Fear
Robert Englund.
FearNet,
Right.
yeah. So we did that together. Actually, Kane was in The Last Boy Scout with me.
He was one of the stuntmen.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So we always talk about that, his mullet. Google Kane Hodder mullet.
He had a glorious mullet.
It's
He
really great,
did.
right? It's really good.
Yeah.
So I give him a lot of shit. He's like my brother. I mean, I love Kane. So yeah, I had him do Among Friends after that. Because he's such a good actor, and he always says like, I want to say stuff in movies,
Sure.
So I was like, oh, come on set, and he's really, he's like Mensa, like he's really really smart, and he's really dirty minded too. So I wanted to sort of put that on film because he never gets to sort of just be his
Right.
dirty sarcastic self on film. So I let him just say what he wanted to say.
Speaking of directing, do you have any plans to do that again?
Yeah, I'm actually constantly looking for scripts. I was going to do a movie that I did a movie last year with Joe Dante produced, but after working on set, and he said, oh, I think you need to be behind the camera. I said, I know, I've been trying to get back there, and he said, I would like to do something with you. So he had sent me something that I liked, and then the writers didn't work out, so he sent me some other things, and we're just trying to find the right thing for me to do. So I read something recently that I liked, but it's like I want it to be like the perfect thing. And I know it's out there, so I'm just trying to find the right thing. Because you have to spend like 2 years of your life
Sure.
on it. So I want to make sure. And Among Friends, as great as it was, I only got like 9 days to shoot that. And like 2 days of pre-production. And, I was just hired to like come in and do this job, whatever I could.
Right.
And
That's like cornhole
polish
school
the turd and,
nowadays.
yeah, that's it. It's all you can do. And 10 days to edit. And you're like, okay, well, like there
But
you
it's
go.
great to have that opportunity to...
Yes. Just try. I just
to
wanted
learn,
to see.
yeah.
It can only get easier from there.
So when did that bug first hit you?
It's been a long time. Yeah. I mean, I did a little short film. We were doing an anthology after Halloween, in 2007. That was me, Heather Langenkamp, and Ellie Cornell, and I was the only one that ended up finishing it. And then there was an issue; they lost financing, so we couldn't finish the other two. It was called Prank. So I started there, and then I did a movie I did called Stakeland, which I actually really like. On the DVD, there's these little short films before that explain the backstories of the characters. So I was in it, but I directed one about one of the other characters.
Okay.
And so I've kind of been just dabbling a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get scripts all the time or offers for movies that are like directors have no idea what they're doing, and the scripts are like not that great, and they find money to make movies. I'm like, how am I not like making real movies that I know you guys would want to see?
Right.
And I know how to do it, so let's just make it happen. So I'm on the hunt.
Great. You hear that? Screenwriters out there, get on it. One of the other things I found fascinating is your voice work, especially your voice work with, I didn't know this, the wild thornberries. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. How did you get involved in that?
That was I did a lot of voiceovers, so it was just, I had not done a cartoon though. So that was just a lucky booking of a job.
Yeah.
I wish they bring that back.
Yeah.
You know what was even cooler actually is a show that I did for NBC that DreamWorks did called Father of the Pride.
Yes.
That I think aired like 3 episodes. It was about, if you guys, anyone saw it, it was
Isn't it based on Siegfried
and Roy, and it was the White Lion. So we were the lions, and it was John Goodman, Cheryl Hines, myself, Carl Reiner, and then we had like Eddie Murphy on and Danny DeVito on, and like, you know, all of these characters and Siegfried and Roy characters. And right before we premiered, Roy got mauled by the fucking lion in real life. So none of our jokes were funny anymore. I mean, you really can't make fun of someone that almost died. That was like, he was in the hospital,
Sure.
in like ICU, and we got the call going, what are the odds that would happen? Because we were nominated for a People's Choice Award for Best New Show. And then after 3 episodes, we went back and tried to, took a year to make an episode, you know?
Yeah.
So we went back and tried to re-record and change stuff, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, because had that not happened,
my God, it was groundbreaking.
Right, and that was right around the time when, and they still are, I mean, shows like Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, it would have fit right into that.
I know, it would have been great. You can get it on DVD. They're really fun. They're really smart, too.
Damn you, Roy.
Damn lions.
Oh, does anyone have any questions?
No one's going to raise their hands.
There you go.
Come on, there you go.
Halloween 4, there was a buddy of mine brought it to my attention. I hadn't noticed it before, but that blonde mask, the blonde mask in the school scene, I think. Mm-hmm. How'd that end up coming to be?
You know, I always thought it was a mistake, and then I was just with someone recently and I don't remember what the explanation was, but there was actually a reason why they chose to have the hair blonde. I think there was something about in the original. Does anyone know the answer? Anyone see this or hear this? Because I always thought, like, that's weird. Michael's supposed to have brown hair.
It's like Ben Tramer mask or something from the first movie. I think it was.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
There was some.
They still have them like on set, the old, or not the first mask, but maybe the.
Nobody, no. All of the artists that come on to do them make their own. They start over.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know. I'm sure they've kept. Yeah. Whoever made those kept them after they wrap up.
Yeah.
Such a good movie. Such a bad mask.
I know. I know.
That's okay. That's all right. Does anyone else have any questions? Anyone? Yes, sir.
I think I first saw you in Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
They have really iconic Halloween episodes. But do you have any good stories about working on Roseanne?
I didn't have any. I didn't get to do the Halloween episode.
It seems like an oversight, doesn't it?
So weird, right? Oh, I have Roseanne stories. I love Roseanne, actually. She was really great to me. I mean, I think she's obviously a lunatic, but she was really, really nice to me. I actually came on the show because back in the day, there used to be movie of the weeks, like on like prime time. They don't really do that much anymore. This before, I think, really cable, like a lot of cable was happening. So I did a movie of the week with Roseanne and Tom, when she was married to Tom Arnold at the time. And it was called The Woman Who Loved Elvis. And Bill Bixby, the Incredible Hulk, directed it, actually. And was lovely, lovely, lovely. And we shot it in Ottumwa, Iowa, where Tom was from, this little teeny tiny podunk town. And we got along great. And she asked if I wanted to be on her show. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be on your show. Thinking like an episode. I'd never done a live audience show in my life. And then I was hired to do 17 episodes with a 3-year contract. And my mind was blown. And I was scared out of my mind because it was like the #1 show on the air at the time. And I had no comedic live audience experience. I was doing dramatic, movies, action movies and horror movies, and like not comedy for sure. So that's why my character was from Iowa, like the cheesy with the big hair, and then that was kind of the idea. And the girl that was my sister is actually the little girl from Mommy Dearest, which is kind of crazy because I love that movie growing up.
Sure.
And I still love that movie. That's why there's no wire hangers in my house. And so what? I just told this story the other day. I've never told this story before. So we were on set one day, and this is a horrible story. I don't even know if I should tell it, but so it was Roseanne and Tom's anniversary, and she decided she was going to hire this company to come and teach you how to strip for your man. So this couple came during lunch one day, and we did it on the Darlene's bedroom set, and it was me, Laurie Metcalf, Sandra Bernhardt, Sarah Gilbert, and Roseanne, and this husband and wife, and they were doing. I was 15. I mean, I was a very mature 15, but I was 15. And I just remember this woman did something where she did a handstand on the floor and flipped her legs behind. The guy was sitting in a chair, and the woman went down and flipped her legs behind her husband. And my mind was just blown. What was even crazier is that then they had tried to teach Roseanne how to do it.
Oh my.
It was hilarious.
I bet.
I mean, it was out of control and so fun, and we had such a good time, and I was so glad that they included me in all of that. And then a couple days later, Rosie knocked on my trailer before, and apparently somebody called Child Protective Services, and they came to set to interview my mother. My mom was like, I gave her permission. Like, it's not a big
Obviously,
deal.
yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, she's a minor, but and I think the only people that could have probably done it were the people that came and actually did it, because nobody else was on set. Everybody else was at lunch.
Right.
So she tried to include me and have fun stuff like that. So I'll never forget that move. I'll never forget Roseanne doing a headstand, trying to flip her legs over this poor guy sitting in a chair. It was awful. But what a great story, right?
I'm picturing it now.
Jesus. And they were going on a cruise. She wanted to do something special for him. It's insanity.
But you were talking about how you did horror and action, and you were nervous to do comedy.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that maybe it actually wasn't that hard, or it worked out better than you thought, because horror and comedy both rely so much on timing.
Interesting. I mean, I still think I sucked on that show.
No.
I never had funny things to say. I mean, I was always the one that set up Darlene. I even went to her at some point and said, I don't feel like I'm doing a good job, because I never get any laughs ever, because I never have anything funny to say. I'm the straight one, and she just nails it, and I'm just like, she just moves me around like a little pawn, you know? So I always felt like, I'd always leave crying, like, I'm not doing a good job. So I still haven't done a live audience since like Boy Meets World. It's been a minute. I'm still a little like, ooh, with the live audience.
Maybe they'll have you on the Connors.
Maybe.
Who knows? Does anyone else have any questions?
Come on, I got good stories, yes.
Oh,
Oh.
I was just wondering.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you go first.
No,
fine.
you go.
Okay. My question was, you worked with some notorious, I don't know, but from stories like hard directors, like picky directors, I guess would be the nice way to put it, like Adam Green and people very, very vision. Do you have who's harder to work for, Rob Zombie or Adam Green?
Neither one, actually.
I'm shocked.
No, they're both fanboys. So they don't really fuck with me.
Oh, that's good. I guess you have the upper hand in this situation. Oh, good.
They kind of geek out.
I'm glad.
You know, they're a little bit like, oh my God, Danielle's in my movie. So they don't they don't. With Rob, I'd have to be careful what I would say on set, because he'd hang out with us, which most directors don't because they're busy doing other things, but he'd let everybody else do it. And then he would sit behind where our chairs were, wherever we were, like the holding area while they're doing other stuff. And he would talk to us or hear me talk to the girls. And then you would get new pages the next day where he would write the way you speak. and you're like, I was just, that's really weird. Or he'd have his headphones on, and you're talking, you don't know that he's listening to you, because your microphone's not supposed to be on. You know, and then you say stuff, and then and we've talked about it, and he's like, well, I don't know how 17-year-old girls talk. So I just heard how girls talk, and so you got to be careful what you say when you're on set with him.
Super interesting, though.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Danielle, just two quick questions. With all the films that you've done, especially since Halloween 4, a lot of the films are very physically intensive. And out of all the films you've ever worked on, what was probably the most physically intensive film that probably gave you the most bumps and bruises? And I guess the second question is, it's like I told you this morning. The Last Boy Scout was the first movie I ever seen you in. It's still to this day one of my favorite action films of all time. And you just had so many great, awesome interactions, with Bruce Willis, especially the whole puppet scene and the whole daughter scene where you're cursing at him. And I wanted to know if you had any stories regarding filming The Last Boy Scout, as well as the first question.
I really hope people don't actually watch these videos after I
Is this
tell
recording?
these stories. Oh God. I have had a pretty crazy life outside of, the stories of making movies and stuff. Like, my things that happen in my real life are pretty insane, and I remember saying not too long ago, like, is this real life? Does this stuff happen to normal people? And the person I asked, my therapist, said, you were started in horror movies, and in real life my dad had passed away when I was very young, so she's like, you lost a parent and you started in horror movies and you were famous when you were like 7. So you can't expect the rest of your life to be totally normal. It kind of sets you up for that stuff. So anyway, I've had a pretty crazy life. So yes, I have some stories, which I'm going to write a memoir. I'm going to start taking classes because there's some shit that will blow your mind.
Yes.
So Bruce Willis. So the scene in the park where I come in with the puppet, he thought it would be really funny if I came in like I had a handicap. Like I came in with Downs, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. So he was doing it, trying to show me how to do it. It was really insulting and horrific. And he was just laughing. I was like, I don't get it. Like, I don't so I'm handicapped. I'm mentally handicapped. And I'm by myself in the woods, like going up to you with a puppet. Like, what the hell's going on here? So he ended up not doing it that way, thank God. We might have filmed one, and then Tony was like, And then another great one we lost, Tony Scott. He's my favorite director, actually. And then my character was supposed to have headgear. So my braces at the time were fake because I had got my real braces off already. So Tony Scott actually drove me to the dentist, and first time I ever rode in a Porsche, and was like, I love this car, I want one, with his Labrador in the back. Drove me to the dentist and fit me for this fake, like, retainer-looking thing that had brace caps on the metal, so it looked like I had braces. And that's why I'm kind of I'm speaking a little slurry in it, because I have this thing in my mouth. But I was supposed to wear this big headgear that Shane Black wrote, and I came on set day one, and Bruce looked at me with this thing around my head, and he was like, oh, hell no. My daughter is not going to wear that in the movie. That looks awful. Take that off. And I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God, this is so ugly. So I took it off and didn't have to wear it. That was pretty much all he said to me throughout the 6 months that we shot, I think.
That's one of the nice Bruce Willis stories.
Yes, I love Damon Wayans. People always ask me, how do you like working with Bruce Willis? And my response is usually, I love Damon Wayans. So that was that. What was your other question?
Getting beat physically.
Oh, beaten.
Yeah.
Intensive, or probably the film where you suffered the most bumps and bruises.
God, there's so many of them. God.
Did you ever break a bone or pull a muscle on set? Or?
Yeah, but doing stupid things. Like on Free Willy. I mean, for real. Like, I broke my foot on Free Willy. I dislocated my knee falling in a pothole when I was walking shopping when I was filming Urban Legend. Like, never any like, oh, I had this epic scene,
Remember
you know.
that stunt? Yeah. I broke your
Yeah,
ankle.
yeah, no,
Remember
it's
when I went shopping?
exactly. And I ran across the street with too many fucking bags and fell in a pothole. Yeah, that scene. You know, I did a movie. One of the hardest movies for me to do was a movie called Shiver that I did with John Jarrett, who's fantastic. We shot it in Portland, and I get taken. He plays a killer, obviously. I get taken, and I have like this really pretty violent, almost rape scene between he and I, and we filmed in this like dilapidated house, and it was freezing, and there were like fleas and bugs everywhere, and I was in this awful mattress and barely clothed, and he had a really hard time doing it to me because he's got 2 daughters my age, and I'd never been in a scene where it went on for that long. So I was so excited to take a movie where I could just be like act my ass off, and I spent a lot of time drinking whiskey after I'd go home at night because it was really hard to shake off, and I never thought. I'm like, I just show up for work and just do my job, and you know, boom, I'm done. I go home and I'm me again, and it was really difficult emotionally. So I did it once, and I won't ever take a role again because it seems like I could really sink my teeth into it. And it's going to be a lot of work. That's what like new actors do. Now I'm like number 5 on the call sheet, 2 days a week. The rest I get to like wander around. Awesome. The less like screaming and crying I have to do,
Sure.
Sign me up. But
Well, you've done your share.
I've done my share. Now I'm just the girl that like physically fights the monster. I just did this movie in Scotland for the last month called Redwood Massacre or Annihilation. It's actually a very, very similar character to Mary Beth, which is great because I love that character. And I have these fucking epic fight scenes where I'm fighting these huge guys. So I got to do all this awesome training, you know, boxing stuff that I was like, it was just really, really cool.
Any weapons, or was it all hand to
Oh,
hand?
no, it was weapons too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat the shit out of guys with 9mm.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I did all broke bones and choked people out, and I mean big, huge dudes. Like, it was awesome. So I had a really good time, and I did pretty good. I mean, I definitely could, you know, I mean, they're not supposed to be hitting back, but definitely held my own. But I'm still bruised from that.
Yeah.
No, we just got back a week ago, but yeah, but I love that stuff.
Oh, great. That's good.
You guys, everyone watched on Instagram. I posted one of the little boxing scene I have. I can't post the other big fight stuff because it'll give it away,
Okay.
but it's pretty awesome.
Sweet. Anyone else have any questions over here?
Yeah, you talk about screaming and crying or fighting the big bad guy. A film like Blood Night
Mhm.
kind of took the opposite side of that. Is that different kind of
It's hard. Being the killer's hard. I was like, oh, I mean, I remember saying to Bill, like, this sucks. I don't like just like, and the director would call it my boom swag a boom because you would hear me walking down the hallways because I have a heavy walk. So it definitely is more, it's hard. I mean, it's an art to be on, you know, behind the mask. There's a lot of timing and needing to make it, I mean, you have to make it, the kills have to be spot on. It's easy for me, maybe because I've just done it so much, it's easy for me to be the victim. I try to always find cool ways to do it. Like, I never, ever want to be, like, here's a good example, off the subject, but kind of along the lines. There's the scene in Rob Zombie's Halloween where Annie runs out the front door, right? And I remember seeing that in the trailer, and that wasn't in the script. In the actual script, my scene was supposed to be the way Maya dies in the second one, which I was supposed to be grabbed on the way to the kitchen. So here's the way the first movie went. Annie's having sex. Michael comes in, rips the boyfriend off of her. She screams, runs to the kitchen, grabs a knife out of the drawer. He throws it out of her hand, grabs her, takes her to the dining room, throws her on the dining room table, and then stabs her. That's all you are supposed to see in Annie. What happened is we were shooting, and Rob likes to put 2 or 3 cameras, and usually he hides them, and I don't ever know where they are. Because there's been many times that I've like run around a corner and hid so they wouldn't see me, and then I'm like, fucking camera's right there, you know, just tell me where you're hiding these cameras. So when I got off the couch and he was just letting us play it out, there wasn't really rehearsal. He just lets us do what we want to do. I ran right by the front door to go to the kitchen, and I just instinctively was like, why would I go? I'm gonna go out the fucking front door.
Right?
Like, why would you run upstairs?
Yeah.
Or past your exit? So I went out the front door, and Tyler couldn't get me fast enough. So that he was like, God, brilliant. Fuck yeah, get a camera across the street. Let's do it again. And I was like, great, but he's got to catch me because I will be down the stairs, and this scene will happen outside exterior if we don't, like, you come get me, motherfucker. My thing was, like, I'm the sheriff's daughter, right? So in real life, if
There's
that...
some survival instincts.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to. So
Yeah.
I wasn't going to just do what was written there. So
Yeah.
the good thing about being the directors of horror, being fans, and also, like, having done so many movies, is I don't want to step on the director's feet, but I try to say, hey, this would be really cool. Or, hey, I think this is more realistic. Or, we could do this. And then usually they go, yeah, sure, try it. That's cool.
Yeah.
And they'll let me do it. And that's what usually ends up making it into the movies.
But you know, if you keep going upstairs or keep going out the door and not upstairs, you're going to shorten all of our favorite movies to like half an hour.
They just have to come get me, you know. I know. But that stuff is really fun. But the killer is a really hard job. It gets, you know, there's a lot of work that goes into that. That's for sure. So I kind of rather be on the other side. Then I don't have to work as much. The killer's in every single scene too. I know I seem crazy for not wanting to work that much, but it's a lot of work.
It's a to-do.
It's a lot of work because you guys see, like, you know, 3 minutes of the crazy, where those 3 minutes take us 3 weeks to shoot.
Sure.
And it's like you have to be in that heightened state of, like, you're just a mess for weeks. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna take a break.
Did you think of like former agents or something like that to get into that mindset?
No, you know, it just sort of happens. So the movie I just did in Scotland, one of the guys was doing a kill scene for the first time, and one of the actresses too, and they were asking me about, like, you know, my motivation and my this and, like, whatever. I'm like, well, and she's like, I think, one of the actresses was like, I think that, you know, I can't wait to see it. She says it's going to be really funny to see, like, how, like, what comes out of me, like how I react when I have my kill scene. And I was like, funny? It should be fucking horrific. Like, what? And I also said, there's another actress that was there. She was not doing a great job, and her and I have been talking about kids or whatever, and I was trying to get her to just be real and just think about what you're saying. And she said something like, her line was, you're gonna die down here, is what she said to me. And she was doing this, like, weird thing. And I said to her, okay, imagine if you were really saying that to me in real life. You know, I have 2 children. If I ran into you and you were saying to me, and I have 2 babies at home, and you were saying to me, you know you're gonna die down here, how do you feel about that? And she goes, oh my God, that's horrible. And I was like, yes, that's horrible. Just really say it to me. I don't get it. Like, there's no, like, I can't wait to see what happens. Like, you're gonna fucking die. Act. Like, just do it. Just think about that person's really gonna kill you. Like, there shouldn't be this, like, all these ideas of, like, just be there and just see what it feels like. So everyone's like, oh, how do you prepare? It's like, no, someone actually is running after me in real life. Like, they're really there. There's a human being chasing me. Like, no matter, like, you can't shake it. Like, you're going to hyperventilate.
Yeah.
For real in real life. Yeah. So, and you can see it. I watch movies where I'm like, oh, that actor just phoned that shit in, or like, oh wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
I try to keep it as real as possible.
Keep it real, people. Yes, sir.
Okay, more of a philosophical question.
Oh no.
Oh, boy.
Do I need another drink?
So, you know, as an actor and actress in the 80s, if you were in a horror movie, audience perception, and maybe Hollywood as well, was that once you're in a horror movie, that's it. Like, you know, so Jamie Lee Curtis, you know, got stuck in it. You know, they kept casting her in the same role over and over and over again. And it wasn't until later on in her career that she was able to break out, go into other movies, comedies, whatever. Do you think it's easier now for an actress and actor who's in a horror movie to transition to other genres, not be typecast?
I think it happens in every genre. Okay, so I don't think it's just horror. I think Adam Sandler plays Adam Sandler in every Adam Sandler movie. I think Jennifer Aniston is Jennifer Aniston in every Jennifer Aniston movie. You know, it's so I think that when people know you do something really well, they just keep giving it to you. Do I think that Adam Sandler is actually really fucking good in drama? Yes, I do. Do I think most of these actors can really do anything? Yes. I think people that are paying the bills and doing the casting are very narrow-minded, and they think, oh, that works, I have to just keep doing it. Hence why we have all of these remakes again. Again, it's coming back. Like, it went away. We were like, okay, now they're really shitty. And now, like, stuff's coming right back again because, I mean, look, it's like, what was that movie? It's like Blair Witch, you know, or like Paranormal Activity. Like, everyone just jumps on the bandwagon to keep people in the box. We just have to make sure we do other things. You know, I got cast in Urban Legend, and then I did like 5 roles where I was the goth girl. And I had to say, like, I can't do this anymore. It's not fun, but I'm usually the girl they offer the opening role to. I'm either the final girl, the heroine that beats up the bad guy, or I'm the opening scene where I die quickly because it's like a good cameo and they can like pay me for a day. So I have to go, I don't really want to do that anymore. What else can I do? You know, how can I find fun things to make it a little bit different? So I think maybe Jordan Peele's opening that up a little bit more, you know, for people. But I think it's really hard because some of those people found success from that movie. And if they get another movie offer where they're getting offered, you know, $200,000 to work for a month, they're going to take it. And it's going to be another horror movie, most likely. Yeah. So it just gets difficult. And then there's some of us that really like to do these. You know, I mean, I get to work with the same people over and over and over again. I know I've worked with almost every single one of those guys upstairs. Those are like my family. So I get really happy when I'm like, oh, great, R.A. and Kane, awesome, I'm totally dope. That sounds awesome. And then you meet your new people and you keep bringing them in, and it becomes like a little family. So I always say, like, there's no terms of endearment fucking convention. I love terms of endearment, but there's no terms of endearment convention. So is it a bad thing to be stuck in horror? You know, I mean, I don't know. Everyone wants to be, maybe they want to do bigger things or whatever, but as long as you're doing what you love to do and your bills are paid. In any job, right? I think. Unless they want to be famous, and I guess you can just go and get a YouTube channel and do stupid shit and make millions and millions of dollars instead.
Sounds like a lot of work, though.
That does sound like a lot of work. But you should see, like, I watch stuff my kid watches on YouTube, and it's like, there's something that has like 40 million views, and it's someone digging in mud, pulling out toy trucks. It's like mud, and they're making weird noises. I'm like, really? I really am overthinking this.
My grandson, 2-year-old grandson, was watching a video of a bunch of M&Ms in a box.
Oh, yeah.
And someone pulling them out.
That's it.
That was the video.
They watched it 1,800 times,
yeah.
Right? Oh, God. But when it's on, do you catch yourself?
Oh,
like getting stuck in it?
Oh, yeah, it's hypnotizing.
It's so stupid. I'm in the wrong business.
Right?
I'm working way too hard for my money.
But, you know, I think, you know, getting stuck is probably not the right word, because with the kind of quality work that you've done over such a, I won't say long, I'll say esteemed,
It's just busting your ass.
career.
Thank you.
That all of us horror fans really appreciate.
Even when I do shitty movies, you guys still like them. So it's like I can't go like, oh God, that movie was really bad, because the ones that I'm like, oh God, that was bad, someone will come up and say, I loved that movie.
Some movie is always someone's favorite movie.
You know, so in horror, like, you guys give me like a get out of jail free card, where even if it sucks and I'm in it, you're still gonna come up and say, like, I really liked you in it. So I try to do fun things.
And you do them well. Let's everyone
Thanks.
give Danielle a big round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Woo. Gonna lose like 10 pounds in here. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.